Ever felt like your life was falling apart and nothing seemed to make sense? What if your life was actually falling into place and everything was reconfiguring and aligning with your highest calling? This is Josh with The Conscious Adventure, and I've been spending a lot of time over the last few days diving deep into the concept of the hero's journey. And because I've been on such a crazy hero's journey myself, this has been particularly meaningful for me. I know this will resonate because it's such a relevant topic right now. There's so much going on in the world. There's so much intensity, pressure, and chaos. We've got wars going on. We've got inflation going crazy. So the hero's journey to me is more of a meaningful topic than maybe at any other time. For those of you who aren't familiar with the hero's journey, this is a metaphor for life, popularized and maybe coined by Joseph Campbell. He used this metaphor to describe each individual's life journey and the path we take through life. I like to call it that I am the hero that has to save myself from the dragon that is myself. It's a concept of getting to confront myself over and over again and learning more about who I am and what I'm here to do. The way that Joseph Campbell broke down the hero's journey was into three main phases. And these kind of correlate to stages or phases of consciousness too. So I'll drop into both of these, and then I want to take you on a bit of a journey into my life and some sneak peeks into the hero's journey I've been on. The phases of the hero's journey are usually broken down into the call to action, which is the beginning chapter. And this is usually something external, something happens in our life. This could be something exciting and wonderful, or it could be the worst news that you've ever received and you got blindsided at 4 p.m. on a Friday afternoon and you have no idea how to handle it. This call to adventure could be an actual physical journey and an exciting adventure, or it could be more of an internal journey into self-discovery. And that leads quickly into the initiation phase. And the initiation phase is where we get to confront ourselves. We get to come up against the dragon that is ourselves. This is where we get all of the trials and tribulations. This is where we are tested, and we have to rely on all of the tools and the wisdom and the experience we've gained along the way to actually meet ourselves where we're at and the truth of how we're playing defense on ourselves and what we need to transcend in order to align with our highest selves. And at each step of the hero's journey, we're going to get the opportunity to confront ourselves and transition into that third phase where we are able to take what we've learned through that initiation phase and integrate it into our lives. And so the third and final phase is the return, where we're going back to our community. We're going to share what we've learned, our experience and our wisdom with our loved ones, with our friends and family, and actually contribute and serve others, not necessarily by telling them what to do, but by embodying the experiential wisdom that we've gained on our journey. And this corresponds with the 4 stages of consciousness. So we'll just start with that, and then I can drop into a correlation there. But basically, the stages of consciousness start with stage 1, which is victim mentality. Life happens to me. And this is the lowest stage of consciousness. This is where I'm literally just reacting to external events that come up that I really don't have any control over what happens to me, and I'm a victim of circumstances. This is the lowest stage. At this stage, I've given my power away. I've outsourced everything. So it's very rare to find somebody who's completely in victim stage, in the lowest stage of consciousness. People kind of vacillate or move back and forth between stage number 1, the victim stage, and stage number 2, which is consciousness and life are happening by me. So I am in control. I'm the one who creates and destroys. I'm responsible for creating the changes in my life, for all the successes, and to some degree, the defeats and the failures that I go through. It's really common for people, like myself for a lot of my life, vacillate and just kind of move back and forth between, man, this happened to me, but look at what I was able to accomplish. I dug deep and I came back and I was able to pick myself up. These are really important stages of consciousness because they actually create a lot of the habits and patterns that we are able to take with us into the upper stages of consciousness. We just have to realize what all these mean and how to use them effectively. And so the third stage is through me. This is where life is actually flowing through me and happening for me. And the way I like to think about this, and I got this from Vision, from Mind Valley, is envisioning an instrument like a violin. Think of the most incredible violin, and we are all divine instruments. Our job is not to play the instrument or to convince ourselves that we are architect of whatever is coming through us. It's just to stay in tune with the universal melody that's flowing through us. This is a beautiful metaphor for where my identity needs to be in terms of what my job is. My job is alignment. My job is to stay open and aligned so that my channel can allow life to constantly happen through me and for me. So that's stage number 3. And that's the stage I'm trying to live my life as much as I possibly can and hope to catch glimpses of stage number 4, which I've heard about and I know a little bit about conceptually, but this is the stage the spiritual masters have taught from. This is not a stage that I'm an expert on at all, so I can't really speak on this stage. My life journey has been an intense and exciting adventure and has literally had all of the ups and downs and all arounds you could imagine. Everything from federal prison at a very young age, wrestling for one of the top Division I universities in the United States, getting prescribed amphetamine salts at age 7, a pretty unconscious relationship with cannabis, and then carrying that into pre-regulated distribution, which is what resulted in my vacation at the federal prison, then into real estate finance, working on some large developments and figuring out real estate acquisition, M&A, and real estate finance, and then working in the cannabis space in every level of regulatory infrastructure, pre-regulated, legacy, traditional markets, and then into the medical market, and all the way through into fully regulated recreational and adult use markets. My relationship with cannabis led me into a really deep relationship with all plant medicines, but I've had the privilege of working with cannabis for almost 30 years now. I got my medical card in 1999 in Oregon, where I spent a lot of my adult and youthful years learning the tricks of the trade and cutting my teeth, initially in Northern California, but all up and down the Pacific Northwest as a distribution expert, where I moved products from markets where it was fully regulated and legal to other markets where there was a high demand and the regulatory framework made the price for that product much higher. I don't work in pre-regulated markets anymore. Increasingly, my relationship with plant medicines led me into the exploration of consciousness without the use of psychedelics or plant medicines. I left the United States after a successful run on the West Coast in cannabis, sold my facility, started an advisory group with a college buddy of mine, and got the opportunity to move to Barcelona and open one of the premier social consumption lounges in Spain. And for a while had the nicest club in Barcelona and got to experience the top of the food chain in the international cannabis markets. And also got to experience being underneath the weight of the world and having everything taken away from me. What to me at that time represented the largest failure I'd ever been through, and basically a business ego death. So the process of picking up the pieces and the perceived failure and how that affected my mindset, my attitude, and my ability to look at the world, myself, and the situation I was going through has been incredibly valuable for me as I've continued through my hero's journey. And the journey took me down to Puerto Rico, where I lived for about a year doing the cultivation for some top California brands before transitioning into a full nomadic lifestyle with my partner and starting to explore the world without my safety net. I'd sold most of my real estate in Oregon before I left in 2020, just before COVID, to move over to Spain. So in 2022, I sold everything I had, put my art and possessions I wanted to keep into trailers and storage, and went full send into exploring what it was like to trust life and seeing what my intuition wanted to lead me into the next level of my journey. And I believe the hero's journey cycles. We have more and more of these hero's journeys throughout our life. And then we have kind of a larger overarching hero's journey that encompasses our entire life. And that's kind of the culmination of our spiritual path, our career, and our purpose here. I think that those three things align in such a beautiful way and allow us to really start diving into the question of who are we and what are we here to do? That's a question that has really driven me over the last 5 years and lit up. And I doubled down on my spiritual path when I went through the experience in Barcelona. And since then, they owned cultivation licenses in multiple jurisdictions around the EU, been helping move literally tons of cannabis around the world, and then started to feel more called to service and to contribute and collaborate with other people going through similar situations and experiences to what I was navigating through. I'm just another traveler on my own hero's journey, confronting the dragon that is myself over and over again, in the confidence and the perseverance, the trust that as long as I keep polishing and calibrating and continuing to explore who I am and what I'm here to do, without necessarily trying to find the concrete answer, these questions will continue to lead me in the direction of truth. I have been very fortunate to have met some amazing teachers along my path and have an incredible network of friends and family who have supported me in all stages of my journey, from deeply unconscious. I mean, I had a very dysfunctional relationship with cannabis for almost 30 years of my adult life, and it's only recently that I've reevaluated the relationships in my life and largely stopped consuming cannabis, except very intentionally. And that has brought about a profound shift and a profound change in my life, in my mindset, and in my awareness and my ability to start really looking at the ways I play defense on myself. I'm going to be sharing a lot of the tools, the tricks, and the techniques I've gained on my journey to help maintain a high vibrational state, to reset my mindset when it gets low, and pick myself up when I fall flat on my face, and through perceived failures and broken relationships, heartaches and heartbreaks, and increasingly take 100% responsibility for my life. In doing so, what I've been able to do is take back my power. At the moment, I'm able to take 100% of my power back. I get to write very intentionally the story of my life, and I am working on a bestseller. I know a lot of you are working on the exact same things and trying to figure out what's playing defense on me. Why can't I manifest the life I'm looking to create for myself? These are some of the topics that I've been exploring over the last 2 years with my men's circle. And as I've dropped into coaching, looking at how the process works for myself and for others as well, and doing a deep dive into how I can realize my highest potential and figure out exactly what I'm here to do. I'm trusting these messages and some of these tools and techniques are going to resonate with you. And I'm really looking forward to sharing this journey with you guys. So I look forward to seeing you on the next one. See you soon.